Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. It's Max Norbury here with the weekly report preview for the week commencing the 4th of July, which is actually Independence Day in the United States. So this week, guys, we have a very, very busy week ahead. But first and foremost, it is non-farm payroll week, which means this Friday we are going to find out everything there is to know about the employment situation in the United States. That is one of the most important economic drivers for the United States dollar, and also will have backlash effects on the US stock market as well. But aside from the non-farm payrolls, we also have a number of different things happening. Tuesday, overnight, we've got the RBA interest rate decision looking at a potentially significant increase. Current interest rates are at about 0.85%, where we're looking at about 1.35% of an increase there. So a big increase forecasted there for the interest rate decision, and I believe, although purely speculation, I believe that to be around about the correct sort of number to go with. We also have BOE Governor Bailey speaking for the Great British Pound tomorrow at about 11 a.m. London time. Following that on Wednesday, we have job openings. We have the FOMC meeting minutes as well. We also have the ISM non-manufacturing PMIs, all for the United States dollar on the Wednesday. So that's a big one there as well. Following that, we've got ECB publishing their account at the monetary policy meeting. So expect some possible bit of a minefield, bit of turbulence there in the euro on Thursday midday at around 12:30 London time. We've got initial jobless claims, as we always do pre-NFP. We've got crude oil inventories as well as crude week on the Thursday. Following that, guys, we've got ECB President Lagarde speaking, and that's on Friday at 5 to 1 in the afternoon. President Lagarde's going to be covering things like inflationary projections, thinking about the fact that CPI in Spain being a little bit of a precursor to increased inflation taking place across the rest of the European countries. We are looking at Spain being a bit of a precursor to that build of inflation across Europe at the moment. So it's really going to be weighing heavy on Lagarde, and so it's going to be very interesting to hear what she has to say about the projections, about quantitative tightening, and how they are going to be sort of moving on forward throughout the rest of the year with their increasing of interest rates or not. Ultimately. Then, of course, after that, we have our non-farm payrolls taking place at around 1:30 London time on the Friday afternoon. That's coming alongside unemployment rates, the other data as well, average earnings, etc., but also employment change data for the Canadian dollar. So I expect the USD CAD on Friday to be particularly volatile, as well as probably seeing quite a lot of volatility in the US stock markets. Things like the S&P 500, the NAS 100, and the US Dow Jones, which are always dramatically affected by things like non-farm payroll. Also, if you're a Euro USD trader, probably going to be a bit of a minefield there for you guys as well. Just be aware. You don't need to be an economic genius or anything, but it's just about being aware that those economic events are taking place, so that you're not on the wrong side of the move or get caught, by surprise ultimately. So this week in our weekly report, guys, we are looking down here. Scott's got the S&P 500 again. Scott, really likes his S&P. And he's, ultimately the guy knows a ton of stuff about it. He's looking at the moment, potential areas, sort of potential buy side areas, potential sell side areas in here. He's got a lot of information in there, all about his review of the S&P 500. He's covering the sort of transitioning from the current sort of regime of inflation scare to another regime of rising recession risks. So he does talk a little bit about that and that transition that we're currently seeing at the moment in the economics. This is followed by me, and this week actually, guys, I'm putting the focus on natural gas. I think the energy markets at the moment, especially the natural gas energy market, has been taking a bit of a beating, and I think that's going to continue. I'm looking at around 450 this week for my sort of key target there in natural gas, looking for that bear momentum to still continue. At the moment, the weather, we don't really have demand from weather events around the world. We've also got this Russian situation, which is still what it is. Ultimately, the demand isn't really there too much right now, but I think it could be soon enough. But at the moment, I think we're going to see that continuation of bearish momentum. I think 450 is going to be achieved once we get down to 450. That's kind of the baseline for natural gas, so I would expect some big support to come into play there, and you might see a nice bit of a spike up. But 450 is definitely the first point of call for me this week to reach. And then finally, guys, in the weekly preview, we got Shane Vernier, and he is covering basically everything there is to know about the economic side of things. We've got all the economic data points, what the markets are that are going to be affected by those individual data points. A lot of information there. It's always a really good read looking at what Shane's been working on. So make sure you don't miss out on that one. Now, in terms of finding the report here, guys, for those of you who possibly finding the report for the first time, which is absolutely fine, just remember once you get to the forexsignals.com website, you scroll right down to the bottom. Underneath the trading room list on the far left-hand side, we have Forex Forecast. You click on that and then you can access the weekly report online. Okay, just for those of you who possibly haven't done this before. Now, guys, as always, please, if you've enjoyed this video, absolutely fantastic. Don't forget to give it a like and a thumbs up if you do, and also hit that bell icon so you get notified of any future videos up and coming. So take care out there, guys. Have a fantastic trading week this week. Just remember, be aware of those economic data points. Like I said, you don't need to have an economics degree, but it's about being aware, spatially aware of what's going on around you. That can really be the make or break between a successfully consistent trader and, unfortunately, a trader that is just consistently losing money. All right, so take care out there, guys. Trade safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.